Hello, LGs, ladies and gents. Welcome back to my channel. This is the lady at 60. Yeah, we're going to be talking about early retirement and living abroad. So if you guys are interested in those topics, then of course continue to watch. So I actually retired back in 2016. My husband had the opportunity to go to either California or China. Okay, and because our daughter had just started her freshman year in college, we chose California. There was no way I was going to go out of the country when my baby child, my youngest child, was just starting college. And so the choice was very easy. And I'm so glad we made it. The area that we moved to in California was this little bitty town called San Luis Obispo. Never heard of it myself, and you probably don't know anything about it as well, but it was a wonderful, beautiful beach between LA and San Francisco. While there, my husband and I enjoyed so much riding our bikes to different places to eat, and riding our bikes to the beach, which was like a mile away from where we were renting a home, and had a wonderful time. The decision for me to retire was because of my husband's job. My husband was an engineer, a nuke engineer, and normally when he goes out for business trips, they can last anywhere from 3 months to 3 years. And when the opportunity came for him to go to California, or we knew this was going to be a long trip. So I decided to retire. I left my job and I followed my husband to California. And I'm so glad I made that decision. Most of the time when he went on trips like this, I would stay home and make sure, our children were taken care of. But for some reason, I decided this time I'm going with you. I'm so glad that I did, because had I not did this, we would have lost those beautiful 2 years that we had together before his death. Well, we returned back home to Charlotte, North Carolina. We returned back in 2018 after a 2-year stint in California. And unfortunately, my husband became very ill in 2018. He had to go through he went through multiple life-threatening medical problems. And the last one, unfortunately, is the one he could not recover from. It was called necrotizing pancreatitis, and that's where your pancreas dies on both sides, and it can no longer process your food or regulate your insulin. And so so my husband passed away February 2019, and yeah, my whole life changed. Like I said, I retired early to spend time with him. I do not regret that at all. I would not have changed anything. I'm so glad we had that chance to really bond and just enjoy each other for as long as we could. Here I am, an empty nester, and now a widow, and retired super early in my career. So what was I to do, right? Well, first thing first, I knew I was going to sell my home. We had a large home, 4 bedrooms, 5 baths, and it was just me in it. And so that was the first thing on my agenda, was let's sell this house and figure out where I'm going to live. I knew I wanted to leave Charlotte because I felt like every road led to the hospitals where my husband spent several months before passing. My children and I, my son and my daughter, um, took trips to different places that I thought I wanted to live. We went to Houston, Texas. We went to Austin, Texas. Um, and then my daughter and I went to Florida for like 6 weeks. And we just took our time and we just traveled from the south to the north of Florida until we stumbled across Venice, Florida. And that is where I migrated from after the death of my husband. I lived in Venice, Florida during the pandemic because, of course, my husband passing in 2019, a year later, the pandemic hit. I had just closed on my home in Florida in January, and then February was a shutdown. I joined two country clubs. The one at my uh, the one in my community, and then of course I joined another country club because they had clay courts. The tennis courts in my development were hard courts. But the people in Florida, they did not shut it down. They continued to live their lives. During that time, those 3 years that I was in Florida, I met some wonderful, wonderful people on the tennis courts. They are now my friends. They follow me on Facebook and everything. And we just had a blast playing tennis, socializing, going to dinner, and all of that good stuff. But as they say, all good things must come to an end. Our tennis team, our tennis group split up. A friend of mine was traveling to Panama to visit with her son and daughter-in-law. And I never been to Panama. And so I asked to tag along. And she brought me here. And as they say, the rest is history.